Well, hi and howdy, folks. Once again, welcome to Kemp's Ford School. Have a seat while you can. I only have 3 students today, so they're out to recess right now. We have some time to go over a few things. Hope everybody's doing well. I know I try to post on a regular schedule every Friday, and today is not Friday, but it is the 18th day of November, and it's an anniversary. It's a special event of sorts. Let's see, what happened on the 18th of November? I'll let you know. If you've been following the channel since its infancy, when it was a baby, and it's in toddler stage now, you know that I made mention that I used to work at a 3-century live-in history park in Roanoke County, Virginia, and also Bedford County. The park consisted of 3 centuries, the 17th, 18th, and 19th century areas, and I worked most of the time in the 19th century area at a few places, one of which was Kemp's Ford School. And today, it's an anniversary of sorts. Okay, we're going to try it this way. I'm having a little bit of trouble, and you'll soon see why. Have you ever, my friends, had a job that was so good? Management did not hassle you. You got along with your coworkers. They were all good at what they did. There may have been an occasional spat here and there, but for the most part, nobody resorted to fisticuffs, and it was largely a family spat of that sort. You know how it goes. Sort of job that you may have thought, as I did, this job is so good. When I get to be of retirement age, I'm not retiring. The job is that good. Did you ever have a job like that? If so, post it down below. I'm sure I'd like to see it, and a lot of other people might like to see it too. But you knew there was a but coming, didn't you? But stuff happens. Funding is cut, funding is eliminated, people are eliminated, management changes hands sometimes, and they have a different view on what things ought to be. Downsizing, all sorts of really bad things happen. And perhaps in the downsizing, you yourself were given the chance to look for other employment. It happened to myself and a lot of other people associated with the park. The 18th of November is significant to me, and I think quite a number of other people too, because it was the last day the interpreters had to do their thing. The next day, the shutdown process started and would continue on for several months. I kept a logbook of happenings when I was still at the park. Spent 11 years there, best 11 years I've ever had. And I've had some pretty good years with other jobs, other crews, but this takes the cake. Across the board, takes the cake. On the 18th of November, when this happened, I wrote down, this is it, folks. Last time to make a difference. The night was spent quietly. I spent the night on my site. More about that in a future episode. The night was spent quietly, mostly. Heard a pack of coyotes. Spent a while in the schoolhouse and built a fire. It's safer there. In reality, the coyotes were probably on the other side of the Roanoke River Canyon, doing what they do. It was nice to hear them, though. If you've ever heard them, you know what I mean. They weren't going to come over and eat me or anything like that. But also, little something. When the 10th anniversary of the park closure, the last interpretive program, which essentially closed the reason for the park being there, I wrote a little something. I'll share it with you. On this date, a 10th part of a century ago, a circle of brothers and sisters, bonded in a coming love for our calling, met in a home. And the home in question was this one. This is the Hofhager House. Log cabin built in Roanoke County, Virginia, about 1840. And the Hofhager House was the headquarters for the 19th century area. The interpreter who worked there, Kimberly, was not only the head of the site, but she also was the head of the whole 19th century. Now, the other centuries, the 17th and the 18th, they had their own site coordinators, site managers, but they were subordinate to the lead interpreter, who was Kimberly, and her hangout was the Hofhager. We oftentimes called her Mrs. H. She wielded a mean wooden spoon, if you know what I mean. It was a home. It was the home. We met for a final shared expression of our reason for being, our passion for the past. We were, and still are, the people to whom the past is forever speaking. We listen to it because we can do no other. The past is who and why we are. History is a people's memory, and without it, everyone is demoted to the serfdom of ignorance. For a few moments, we laughed, lamented, spoke of times past, and pierced passed on. There may have been a tear, or 10. There was cake and toasts. We toasted our craft. We toasted each other. We toasted the place we had come to love and were soon to lose, Virginia's Explore Park. As the time for parting drew near, we embraced, spoke our final words of the heart, and left for our sites to do our jobs as interpreters one last time. That was the 18th of November. The very next day, the teardown, the shutdown, it started. We'll continue on for quite a number of months until finally it's ADO's time. The county, Roanoke County, was very good in finding employment for a great many of the people who worked there, interpreters and management and other staff, like maintenance, for instance. And although I was grateful to be employed, gainfully employed, and was content to have a job, it was not the job I would have preferred. I was not happy. Worked with some great bunches of people in the new job, but I'd rather work with the ones I had come to know and love. But that was not to be. Now, this year, it's the 17th year of the last interpretive program at Explore Park. The park still exists, but there's no interpretation. The buildings are still there, unused, but loved. Now, where do I go from here? Well, I guess I go and put this whole thing together. Although I'll be leaving here shortly to make yet another finished product, stick around. After I leave, there's going to be a montage of images showing the sights of the park from each of the centuries. Although I have a fair number of images of the people who worked there, not just interpreters, but other staff as well, I wasn't about to post anything without their permission. It's a thing. And so many people are pictured in my images in groups, and let's say there's 11 people, I have to get 11 permissions. Some of those folks, they're not around anymore permanently. And others, they've gone on to I don't know what and don't know how to get in touch with them. I may have to rethink this whole permission thing and just do it. Could be. Thank you very much. I'll keep this short and sweet, bittersweet. Appreciate you stopping by. The children are probably ready to come back in, all three of them. I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And I hope you continue to visit the site. It's not always going to be a bucket of melancholy. There's some mighty interesting things in the pipeline. Or I think so. If you have any comments, leave them below. If you want to leave a like, go right ahead. If you want to subscribe and you haven't already, by all means, go right ahead. Stick around for that montage. And until next time our paths cross, which I hope will be sooner and not later, I have the honor to remain your most respectful and obedient servant, Dave Diggs, coming to you from a long time ago. Thanks for dropping by. Do take care of yourselves.